Input Foundation clearance codes. Access approved.
Log 530-2020. SCP-2456 is unique in many ways. It's less of an immediate physical threat than many anomalies the Foundation contains. But the horrifying nature of this SCP is never to be underestimated, and it is an object class Keter, which I'm sure I don't have to explain to you just how serious this SCP is. It could wipe out civilization as we know it, and the containment protocols are extensive, to say the least. And research into the neutralization of this SCP is a top priority of the Foundation. Also, complete containment of SCP-2456 is impossible, so don't go wasting Foundation resources on delusions of grandeur. The technology to fully contain this threat doesn't exist, though the Foundation is working on it with little success from what I've seen. SCP-2456 is basically a memnonic parasite, a disease of the mind, if you will, a mental threat that burrows into the very psyche of its host. As such, we have agents insidiously placed to monitor possible activity in any way one could think of. SCP-2456 will stay dormant upon infection. The parasite just plants itself deep within the mind of the host. The SCP only becomes active after trauma or great stress. So this thing could be walking around dormant in anyone. But when it does eventually happen, and the parasite becomes active, this becomes known as an A event. And during this initial A event, the host will basically just go comatose. Normal science will just see simple REM sleep, but in truth, the host will be suffering psychedelic visions infected by the parasite. It's reported that they'll see things like stars take form and dance, past prophets, and spiritually awake people or spiritually powerful people from the past murdered by the sword. The parasite can be disposed of if the host is killed at this stage, but for 3 days the host will be sleeping in this delusional state with the cryptic dreams so intense that they are as real as waking life, and the victim suffers an unending tide of a carnival of sensation the word horrific loses any meaning in trying to define. When the host wakes up, they'll think that they're the new messiah, and tell everyone that they can of the visions they had during their quote-unquote rebirth, or some other reference to a profound enlightening experience. The A event will end though, and the carrier will go comatose again for 3 days to 6 years. But upon awakening once more, SCP-2456 can now infect hosts through SCP-2456-1, basically becoming contagious sound waves. And it is important to note that infection can only occur from exposure to SCP-2456-1 during an A instance or a B instance. But the newly awoken carrier of the parasite will preach a cryptic theology to anyone who will listen, and those who won't for that matter. But in any case, those who hear the oratory of the host are infected by SCP-2456-1. The new doctrine will have an obsession with the sun, numbers, and math being used with holy symbols and a focus on the number 5. Hands will be a theme, along with a non-existent gizmothoric C, or I don't know, how do you pronounce that? Ask Freighter V. But the whole thing starts off a normal theology and spins out of control real fast. SCP-2456-1 can warp reality around it to a small degree, which is unique with each parasite and host. But with each new B instance infection, its reality warping power grows. SCP-2456-1 will cause people to go crazy and find anyone who is not infected with the parasite. They're barbaric and violent, infecting people or killing them if they can't be infected. Though those who are already carriers of SCP-2456 in its dormant state are actually immune. But interestingly, if a dormant carrier of SCP-2456 is exposed to SCP-2456-1, it will cause the host to act aggressively, and the stress may even cause the activation of SCP-2456 and subsequent passing out to harrowing visions to have the cycle start over again. No, I can't clear you to know what happens when two active states of A instance come into contact with one another. Get a level 4 clearance and go listen to my log on the incident. But currently, as of this recording, all testing on the anomaly has been halted. D-class personnel used during the experiments will be prohibited too, so don't even try. I'll save you wasting your time. This mind virus can't be allowed to reach epidemic levels, but the Foundation is prepared at such an event. Use protocol MOBAB. You don't need to know what that is, just call it in. We have a task force ready on hand for cleanup 24/7. What's more concerning is making sure that SCP-2456 is not made public. Silence who you have to and send in the experts, if you know what I mean. Because we're talking total media suppression. In this situation, any means necessary is justifiable. The real thing that unsettles me about SCP-2456 is that there are already tons of people out there who are carriers. The mental contagion is present in around 5% of the global population. But if SCP-2456 ever infects more than 7% of the population, then it will cause an extinction-level event. So, contain this parasite with extreme caution and don't die.